Live from WSIL TV in high definition, this is News 3.
It's just sad, heartbreaking.
We didn't give up hope, and we finally found her.
Family and friends of a missing Gallatin County woman grieving tonight. Their search finally comes to an end. Good evening. It was not the ending Chrissy Williams' loved ones hoped for. Family members say her car was found in the Ohio River today in Rosiclare with a body inside, and they believe it's Chrissy. The 39-year-old was last seen in that area nearly 4 months ago. Since then, there's been no trace of her. That all changed this morning, just before 10, when a boat using sonar to search the river in Rosiclare Park found a vehicle. At 4:30, crews started pulling a red SUV from the water. Just 20 minutes later, police notified Williams' family that a body was also found. News 3's Sam Jones was in Hardin County as this all unfolded this afternoon. And Sam, it's been a very long road for Chrissy Williams' family. What are they saying?
Emily, it's very bittersweet for everyone. They had searched the river before, along with just about every body of water and wooded area nearby, never giving up. All they ever wanted was to get some answers. Now they have some.
It seems the expansive Ohio River may contain pivotal clues in Chrissy Williams' disappearance. Crews searched it over and over again since she vanished, turning up nothing. Thursday was different. Gut-wrenching news the family suspected, but it didn't make the blow any easier. They say Williams' body was found underwater in her vehicle.
I wish she was still here. I would gladly give up my own life if she could still be here.
A break in weather and a new search team out of St. Louis got new results. Chrissy's sister Tammy Jackson says it took only about 20 minutes to pinpoint what had eluded them since December. Chrissy's red SUV at the bottom of the Ohio.
We couldn't give up. We always knew that if we found the car, we probably found her.
Running on love and desperation, they've persevered with a hunch Williams was in this area. Some call it a coincidence. For Jackson, it was her mother's intuition.
My mom kept coming down here to the boat ramp and putting flowers up here because she said that this is where she was at the whole time.
Volunteers like Renee Robinson have been there from the beginning.
Relief, but sad.
A stranger at the start, now forever bonded from the pursuit for answers.
There was a handful of us that just kept on. You know, when we heard search, we was like, where, when?
Much of the searching thanks to Jackson, who wouldn't let the world forget about Chrissy Williams. She says some called her crazy, but for her, it was about the love of a sister, a quest to let her rest in peace.
We found Chrissy finally, my sister, and we're able to finally bring her home where she belongs. That's what we've been trying to do for nearly 4 months now.
State police are handling the investigation. They haven't released any information yet. Family members say an autopsy will be conducted.
And Sam, obviously details still coming in on this, but any idea how long that red SUV was in the Ohio River?
No, not at this point. The family says the SUV was found only 25 feet off land.
And what do they plan to do now going forward?
They're grieving and now shifting all of their efforts to getting justice. They don't think there's any way that Chrissy drove her car into the water by herself.
So some answers tonight, but also more questions. Sam Jones, thank you so much. On the court watch now, after 2 trials and 2 days of jury deliberation, a Jackson County man is headed to prison for killing his girlfriend. Jurors in Franklin County found Donald Lee guilty today. Lee shot 23-year-old Brittany Andrews in the head last May in the parking lot of a Benton business. Lee's first trial last month was thrown out after interrogation tapes played in court included inadmissible evidence. It's been a long process for Andrews' family and friends. One defense attorney, Brian Drew, says isn't necessarily over.
I'm presuming, based on the things that happened in this trial, that it won't end here. It will end up in the appellate court, and we'll see what happens at that point in time.
Nobody knows what we went through, and it's been hard, but justice has been served. God has blessed us, so I am so happy. I'm so thankful. For the family's thankful.
Donald Lee's sentencing is set for April 29th. A Heron man will spend 2 months in prison for bank fraud. Prosecutors say Mark Troller used money from a construction loan for personal expenses and submitted fake documents to the Bank of Marion to cover it up. The 29-year-old Troller will be on probation for 3 years and has to pay the bank more than $80,000 in restitution. The state's highest court says Illinois' eavesdropping law is unconstitutional. The 1961 Eavesdropping Act made it a felony to record a conversation without consent from everyone involved. The Illinois Supreme Court said today the law is too broad and violates free speech by criminalizing recordings that were clearly public. Time for a first word on weather now. Here's Jim.
This time last night, temperatures were really starting to drop off pretty quickly. It turned out to be a very cold night. Tonight, quite a bit different. South breezes keeping temperatures up. Looking at the numbers hour by hour coming in from the Southern Illinois Airport in Jackson County, you can see last night temperatures dropping off to around 30. Some spots seeing lows this morning in the upper 20s, 27 showing up here in Jackson County. But by this afternoon, the south breezes kicked in with lots of sunshine, and you can see the temperatures into the low 60s. We saw a lot of readings. Now tonight, temperatures dropped off when the sun went down and then sort of stopped, and that's because the south breezes continue to blow. We don't expect it to be as cold tonight. Tomorrow morning's temperatures will likely start in the low to mid 40s, and by tomorrow afternoon, expect temperatures in the upper 60s. Off to our west, you can see Vichy showing 72 as a possibility in the afternoon. I think we could see some 70-degree readings in southeast Missouri. But Saturday, the next round of cool air is expected to start moving in. It looks like afternoon temperatures back into the 50s. It will also bring more clouds and a chance of showers. That really shows up for Saturday night. We'll talk more about that in the forecast in just a few minutes.
Sounds good, Jim. Thanks. Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan wants to tax millionaires and use the money generated to help fund education. Madigan says people who make more than $1 million should pay a 3% surcharge. He estimates the plan would raise $1 billion a year for elementary and secondary education. Districts would get about $550 per student. The speaker believes many of Illinois' highest earners will back the idea.
We've done this because we feel that the millionaires in Illinois are the ones that are better equipped to support education than others. That's why we've drafted this the way we've drafted it.
Madigan's proposal would need a 2/3 majority approval in both the House and the Senate. It would then go to voters as a constitutional amendment. Illinois continues to have one of the highest jobless rates in the country. Data out today shows the February rate at 8.7%, unchanged from January. Nationally, unemployment is a full 2% lower. Illinois did add 6,400 jobs in February after losing more than 1,000 the month before. To vote 2014 now, a pair of cash-strapped Jackson County schools are looking to the future after two very different outcomes in Tuesday's primary election. Voters in the Unity Point district approved a property tax hike by just 4 votes. The average homeowner will pay an additional $250 a year. In the Giant City district, a similar measure was overwhelmingly rejected. It was both schools' second try at the referendums. Lower state funding has already forced both districts to reduce staff and eliminate programs.
We have had problems with the number of students in the classes. They're increasing significantly, way above what we are comfortable with.
Unity Point leaders say the new tax revenue will prevent cuts next year. The county clerk says there are still 5 late registration ballots that will not be counted until April 1st, so the election results will not be official until then. Russian leaders say they do not plan to move military forces from Crimea into other parts of Ukraine. Thousands of troops are positioned along Ukraine's eastern border, but Russian officials say they're just training. Meanwhile, the U.S. and European Union today slapped more sanctions on Russian President Vladimir Putin's inner circle. In response, Russia issued a travel ban on 9 American lawmakers. Tensions have been mounting for weeks. The U.S. maintains Russia is violating international law by taking control of Crimea. A New Jersey teen faces trespassing charges after sneaking to the top of One World Trade Center. The 16-year-old was taken into custody early Sunday. Authorities say he got onto the construction site through a small hole in a fence, climbed some scaffolding, and took the elevator most of the way up before slipping past a sleeping security guard to get to the top. That guard was fired. The teen then snapped pictures of the view and posted them online. A construction worker spotted him leaving and he was arrested. Security measures at One World Trade Center are now under review. Reverend Fred Phelps, the founder of the Westboro Baptist Church, has died. He was best known for promoting controversial protests like this at military funerals. Phelps' daughter says the 84-year-old died early this morning. The Westboro demonstrations inspired laws against funeral protests at the federal level and in more than 40 states, including Illinois. Search crews may be getting closer to finding the Malaysian plane missing for nearly 2 weeks now, the latest straight ahead. Plus, a Southern Illinois congressman pledges more help to fix the crumbling Grand Tower levee. And we'll take you to SIU's newest research facility that's working to create a better environment for coal miners. You're watching News 3.
You're watching News 3 in HD, your Southern Illinois news leader, with Eden Schultz, Emily Finnegan, meteorologist Jim Reeser, and Darren Kennard.
An intense search near Australia tonight for what authorities say may be debris from the missing Malaysian airliner. The clues showed up in satellite pictures, and some investigators say mistakes cost them valuable search time. ABC's Devin Dwyer has the latest.
U.S. and Australian search teams say they're hot on the trail of Flight 370. High-tech planes are now scanning the open seas almost 1,500 miles from the Australian coast. Their target? 2 large objects seen in newly released satellite images. Possible debris, one piece as big as 78 feet.
Those images were taken 4 days ago. Those parts are no longer where the pictures were taken. It's not a simple task.
Search crews dropped marker buoys to track ocean currents and how far debris may have drifted. It's painstaking work without certainty that the debris in those images is even related to the plane. But families of the missing say they're getting desperate for answers.
I'm prepared to find him, and I'm prepared to find that he's not with us anymore, and I'm a little less prepared to not know. I think the risk of not knowing is what frightens me the most.
Meanwhile, new questions about why it took so long to zero in on the southern Indian Ocean.
We shared data and an idea that could be tested against other data with the correct authorities on the Tuesday.
Key satellite data from the jet's pings reaching the Malaysian government a full 5 days before they reoriented the search.
Aviation experts call this an egregious slip-up in the investigation, teams spending nearly a week looking in the wrong place. Whatever floating debris is found will now be much harder to trace. Devin Dwyer, ABC News, New York.
We enjoyed a gorgeous spring day today as we take a look at SIU's Campus Lake. Will the great conditions continue into the weekend? Jim's forecast coming up next.
Putting accuracy first, this is News 3 weather.
The south breezes that kicked in this afternoon and stayed with us this evening are really making a difference in temperatures, especially in our northernmost counties. Looking at the 24-hour change, Mount Vernon right now 16 degrees warmer than this time last night, 11 in Carbondale, 10 in Cape Girardeau. Poplar Bluff a little warmer than last night. Of course, we were watching the coldest temperatures come in to our northernmost counties. Now flip that over to what the actual temperatures are. 46 in Mount Vernon, 48 in Carbondale, but 52 in Cape Girardeau, 53 right now in Poplar Bluff. Widen out the view and we can see the impact of high pressure. Remember, clockwise rotation, there goes the cooler air off to the south. Tupelo right now, 49 degrees cooler than St. Louis. Clockwise around on the backside, and you've got the south flow through the plains and starting to move in here now to the lower Ohio Valley. 60 in Kansas City, 60 in Tulsa as well. Chicago still in the cool air. The warm air is not all the way there yet. Temperature 36. A few clouds starting to move into northern Illinois now, and more showing up moving into the plains. We expect those clouds to spread across our region tomorrow. I think early in the day they'll show up as high, thin clouds, and throughout the day they'll just get thicker and thicker. By late afternoon, likely the sky will be covered, but covered with high, thin clouds. So we'll still know the sun is there, and we'll have the south breezes and temperatures will still move up. I think tomorrow afternoon is going to be warmer than what we had today. Not much showing up on radar all around us, but not moving our way. And even the clouds that were moving out of the Rockies into the plains, not producing anything on radar right now. That will change over the next 48 to 72 hours. A little warm front drifting by tonight. Another reason we're going to stay mild, the south flow. But that low, a couple of cold fronts, which will consolidate into one. We'll see one cold front go through, and a little low developing now as energy dropping off the Rockies into the plains. All of that will come together and move through in a couple of different waves and bring a couple of small chances for some light showers. I think we'll see some showers around for everyone before the weekend is over. I just don't think many of us are going to see a whole lot of rain. Temperatures today ranging from 30 this morning to 63 this afternoon. So we started off cooler than normal and ended up warmer. Records range from 8 to 82. 52 degrees currently in Harrisburg at the middle school. Dew point of 33, and normally we'd be concerned temperatures dropping on off. There's the reason why we're not. South breezes continuing to blow at about 5. So SkyCast, we cycle through tomorrow. There's the high. Thin clouds increasing. Cold front moves through very early Saturday morning and stalls. And then a little energy. That second low starts to move along. That'll bring in the chance for rain during the evening. And I'm watching that little wave of energy with some light snow out in the plains. I think it could catch up by late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Maybe a snowflake or two, a flurry or two. That's about all we're really talking about, but we'll keep an eye on that. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon still looking at 60s around here and well into the 60s. But you can see by Saturday afternoon that cooler air starting to move in, and that's just the leading edge of cool air. There's a lot more stacked up behind it. So tomorrow is sort of increasing clouds, high, thin clouds. It shouldn't stop the warming. It may slow it down a little bit. I still think we'll see highs well into the 60s with southwest winds in the afternoon, probably 15 to 20 miles an hour. We could see some gusts. Field fire danger likely going to be up for a little while tomorrow afternoon. Saturday brings that chance for showers, which is really focused in the evening. So the PM means more evening than afternoon, which could change over to a couple of snowflakes Sunday morning. I'm not concerned with that other than we're seeing snowflakes and we're tired of seeing snowflakes. Monday and Tuesday looking for lows in the 20s and highs only in the 40s.
A little chilly for the end of March.
Could be.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Congressman Bill Enyart made a stop in Jackson County today. He toured the troubled Grand Tower levee and met with village leaders. Enyart says he's reaching out to President Obama for help fixing the levee. It's in critical need of repair after a large pipe inside collapsed nearly a year ago. And with spring flood season quickly approaching, the help can't come soon enough.
We're going to have to fight for every dollar that we can.
Grand Tower Levee District Chairman Roger Cavanis hopes Enyart's visit will pay off.
He understands our needs, and he's trying to help.
Enyart spent Thursday morning discussing his plans to help fix the Big Muddy Levee.
My goal in Grand Tower is that we get these repairs made before there's a catastrophic failure.
Last June, a 60-inch pipe collapsed, creating a massive hole in the levee. Since then, the village has been raising money for repairs and doing a temporary fix. Leaders wanted to tap into money from a 1994 county bond referendum that expired after 7 years.
We're all hoping for this county referendum to be reinstated. We got a lot of people working on it.
Earlier this month, the state Senate approved a bill that would let Jackson County sell bonds to pay for the work. The bill would allow up to $1.7 million in bonding authority. Now it's up to the Illinois House.
That's what we're waiting on right now, and this will fix pretty well all of our problems in these bottoms if we can get this pushed through.
With no timeline on when the House will consider the bill, Enyart is working to gain authority for the Army Corps of Engineers to pick up the tab.
Currently, the Corps is talking about doing it as a cost share, 65% to be done by the Corps, 35% to be done by the local authorities.
He says the problems stem from inappropriate design and points out the levee has outlived its projected 50-year lifespan. He believes it's the Corps' responsibility to fix.
Rather than there having to be a local share provided, it should be entirely paid for by the Corps.
In the meantime, it's a waiting game.
I'm not sure at this point where we'll stand if this don't go through.
In Grand Tower, Evie Allen, News 3.
Grand Tower leaders say if they received funding now, they could shore up the levee before flood season by replacing several of the pipes inside. The head of the Illinois prison system will keep his job. The state Senate voted today to retain Tony Godinez as director of the Department of Corrections. He's held the post for 3 years. Some lawmakers have complained about Godinez's job performance after he hired a former gang member and an unqualified employee with political ties. They also point out the state prisons are overcrowded. Southern Illinois Senators Gary Forby of Benton and Dave Luchtefeld of Oakville voted against reappointing Godinez. More than 100 inmates in Illinois serving life behind bars could have their sentences shortened. All were convicted of murder as juveniles. In 2012, the U.S. Supreme Court said sentencing juveniles to life without parole violated the Constitution's protection against cruel and unusual punishment. Now, the Illinois Supreme Court is making that ruling retroactive. More than 100 prisoners will get new sentencing hearings. SIU is now home to a state-of-the-art mine facility. The Longwall Dust Control Facility is in the Illinois Coal Development Park in Carterville. It's one of 2 in the whole country that's studying how to reduce coal dust. News 3 Chief Photojournalist Benji Jeffords takes us on a tour.
This facility was built so that we could test, change what they're doing now to help suppress the dust. But this thing traveling at 60 feet a minute creates a lot of dust. Our challenge is to come in here and build a system that's better than what they've got right now. And without this facility operating, we couldn't have done that. Our spray system is what we're going to focus on right now. It rotates, it actually cuts coal, and in that there is water sprays. There's also water sprays here on the, what they call the shear clear. There's also water sprays here on the chassis.
This allows us to test every mine system so that we can tell them whether it's going to work or whether it's not going to work.
There's going to be a lot of changes, but even though you make a change, if it doesn't make a difference in the dust, you're not any better off. And I think this is totally going to help our longwall system and maybe create a whole lot better environment for the coal miners down below.
Congress is considering lowering the amount of dust allowed in mines, so officials say the work at this new facility is extremely important right now. A flea market find will net one man a huge profit. Years ago, the man bought this gold egg for $14,000, hoping to eventually melt it down. Good thing he didn't. He recently contacted an antiques dealer who revealed it's actually a rare Fabergé egg, a gift from Russian Tsar Alexander III to his wife, and it's worth $33 million. The egg will go on display in London next month for the first time in more than 110 years. To sports, March Madness brought more bracket-busting upsets. Plus, Carbondale and Massac met on the diamond today, a roundup of how area teams fared in today's action. Next in sports.
This is News 3 Sports in HD.
A picture-perfect day for spring sports today as Massac County visited Carbondale on the diamond. Now the Terriers looking to add another W to the win column. Both teams stepped up on defense at the beginning of this contest. Bottom one, Massac County turning the double play to get out of the inning. Game would stay scoreless. But top of the second, Patriots looking to get on the board. Bryce McClellan doubles out to left field, and Patriot runners on second and third as a result. But Carbondale's pitcher Justin Hoffman started dealing from there. He struck out 3 straight batters to get out of the jam in the inning. Then moving to the third, Terriers finally would break through, the pitch getting away. Joe Lausen slides in safely as Carbondale grabbed a 1-0 lead, and they go on to win this game 5-0. Other high school baseball scores from today: Mount Vernon falls to Civic Memorial, while Marion tops Murfreesboro. Carterville coasts over Trico, while Salem edges Benton 4-3. Harrisburg doubles up El Dorado, while Waltonville big over Grayville 14-2. And Tyler Crane threw a no-hitter as Gallatin County run-ruled Meridian. In JUCO baseball, Logan would beat Kaskaskia at home 4-2. Shifting gears to the other diamond, Carbondale girls clashing with the Lady Patriots of Massac County. and they would jump out to an early lead. Hannah Wire grounding to short, but that would allow Jordan Smith to score. Lady Patriots with a 4-0 lead. This time, it's the Lady Patriots doing it on defense. That's Jessie Douglas. How about that? A Martin's Moment nominee for this week, but Carbondale Skylar Miller responds with some great defense of her own. The diving snag for the out, then on to the second inning. Douglas grounding to third, and Jessie Lamb would come home, giving the Lady Patriots a 5-0 lead, and they go on to win this one 12-2 in 5 innings of play. Other high school softball scores: Nashville shutting out Greenville, while AJ short game Steelville 11-zip. Trico would top Carterville 4-1, while Galatia blows out Johnson City in 5 innings. El Dorado 2-1 over Wayne City, and SVW also a big winner over Grayville. Juco softball from today: Wabash Valley sweeps a pair from Logan 5-4 and 9-1. Well, chances are a lot of basketball fans' billion-dollar brackets found the trash can today as March Madness lived up to its annual billing of upsets. And the first one, well, pretty much came in the first game of the day as Dayton took on Ohio State. Under 30 seconds left in the game. Buckeyes down 1, and Aaron Kraft in for the reverse layup in a 1-point Ohio State lead. But on the ensuing Dayton possession, V. Sanford taking it in the lane, the tough runner off glass to fall, and Flyers led 60-59, and Kraft's last-ditch attempt to win this game off the mark as the Buckeyes go down to Dayton 60-59 in a thrilling finish. Other NCAA tournament scores that have gone final: Midwest region, Michigan moves past Wofford, and SLU would rally to force overtime and survive against the NC State Wolfpack. UConn outlasts St. Joe's, while North Dakota State stuns Oklahoma in overtime. In the South region, Syracuse rolls by Western Michigan, and number 1 overall seed Florida by 12 over Albany. In the East, Harvard upsetting Cincy. Michigan State no trouble with Delaware. In the West region, Wisconsin rolling over American U, while Oregon coasts by BYU. And Pitt rolls over Colorado 77-48. I'm sad to report that currently my ASU Sun Devils are trailing Texas, which I'm sure I'll be hearing it from Matthew Searcy because he's a Longhorns grad.
He will probably let you know about that. Thanks, Kelly. We'll be right back. How's it look, Jim?
No travel problems tomorrow anywhere locally. If you're headed to Chicago, the warm air finally arrives tomorrow. High around 61. St. Louis may be up to 73, 75 out around Tulsa. You can see the cool air starting to move into the plains. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, but not tonight. Tomorrow looks like a nice day.
Looks like a beautiful Friday. Thanks for joining us. Jimmy Kimmel Live is next. Have a wonderful evening.